Right.
Hello, hello, and good evening. It is Tuesday, and we're back. That means that it's time for a couch conversation. And tonight I have the lovely, the informative, the powerful, the wonderful Ms. Akua Wilder, founder of Wilder Juices. She's going to be my guest today. We're going to talk about what food really does to the body and why it is so important that we give a shit about what we put into our body,
Sounds good to me.
right? Because a
Sounds
lot of
good
times
to
we gloss over that, like, oh, we just gonna eat that bag of chips, like it's not gonna make a difference.
me. Listen, food is a complicated subject. It's a real sensitive subject for people. Um, I think that when you're dealing with people and food, you got to take it easy on them.
Yeah,
You don't want to, yeah, like you don't want to start off too harsh with explaining to people what they have to get rid of or what they should be eating. You can't force it on them. It's got to be like a nice, smooth process, and that's kind of what I'm all about. Is I love getting clients that are interested in plant life and veganism, but they have no idea where to begin. So
right.
that's where I come in, and I've been doing it for a little while now. I started my business a year ago, but naturally I've been doing this for a long time with myself and my family,
Mhm.
and so now I'm at the point where I started working with groups and doing detoxes and cleanses, and really teaching people how to eat because we think we know, and then when we see the bag of chips, we
Right.
don't realize the damage that we do. So what's the alternatives? Like we have to find alternatives that'll make us feel good and still give us that that satiated feeling. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like a big part of that comes from the disconnect that we have from the land that we come from, because we're so far removed from the actual growing or harvesting and recognizing what plants are and
Hmm.
how we integrate them into our diets,
Yeah.
that we've kind of lost that connection to how much food actually impacts who we are, how we think. It
Yeah.
affects our day to day. We just think, oh, this tastes good.
Hmm. Hmm. Uh, Most definitely. Well, it's the convenience of this world. They say it's a man's world. I think if it was more womanized, it'd be a little different. We're getting there. We're trying.
Yeah.
you know, Once the understanding of trade happened and agriculture started to grow and transportation and all those things started to happen, there was a demand and a need for things that you never had before.
Hmm.
And when it started a long time ago, the need for more, and it's a part of greed, really. It's all about money, and when you understand that concept, that's when you learn how to eat because you understand this is made out of convenience. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So right now I'm eating convenience. So if you think about it that way, you might change how you're eating because you're like, I know I'm eating this because I'm hungry and because it's gonna be fast. And if I put it in the microwave and heat it up real quick, I don't have to do that much work. My kids aren't gonna bother me. Like just
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And so we radiate our food and we totally forget because it's convenience. It's convenient to do this. The world that we live in, we have to now work 2 and 3 jobs. We have to travel around. Rent is sky high. Everything has to do with greed. That's where it all stems from. When we think about the African genome, where we come from, and the plants and the fruits and the vegetables, that's what we started off with. That's what we thrived off of. Because the body can't live healthy outside of an alkaline state. But
Hmm.
when you move that body outside of the alkaline, you know, uh, uh, geological area. You know what I'm saying? It changes your body, you know, and if you take something out and then try to feed it something different, it's not going to do well. It's not going to do well. And that's pretty much what has happened to us, our community. Um, we are so far away from where we used to be. And, you know, it's so much comes into play. But we can get back. We can get back to some of the natural ways that we've had through herbs and through just increasing, you know, the fruit and vegetable intake that we should have every day. Not like, oh, I don't feel good, I'm gonna eat this vegetable and hope
Right.
that it works. Like it's magic. It's not magic. You know, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
But I mean, even magic takes consistency. So it's
There you
all
go.
it all runs together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, food is so dynamic in our
Mhm,
community
mhm.
because not only is it like it's memories, it's love, it's how your mama fed you, how your grandma fed you, how
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's like we have this emotional bond to food as well as recognizing what the internal chemistry that food does to our system. And then we have the economic and political aspect of food, as far as
Uh-huh.
having food deserts and not having access to fresh foods and not being able to eat what we need, or what we not being able to have access. So what would you say
Uh-huh.
with regards to, like, how do we start to go back? Is it more go back or go forward? I guess that's what kind of where the question
I mean, I feel like it's going back, but it's way back into time.
is.
Because like I said, this was the beginning of time where we ate only fruits and vegetables and berries, and that's how we, you know, survived. And think of the strongest animals that are on this planet. You know, the biggest elephants and gorillas, and I mean, come on, you know, it's so the theories of not getting enough protein or not getting what you need is really a myth
Hmm.
that has to be squashed. Um, Accessibility is a big deal, and it's something that I understand deeply. I live in Patterson, and there's a lot of markets that are out there that are good, but then there's some that are like local. And if you don't have access to a car, if you don't have the money to get on a bus, you're going to your local market, you know, or your local store. And when I look at some of the produce, I get upset because I'm like, how are you selling this to people?
Hmm.
Because a monkey wouldn't even eat it. So you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They're just as picky. You know what I mean? They're gonna look at it and go, no, this is not good. So
Right.
why are we eating this? And the crazy thing is, many of us would like to eat healthier, but it is accessibility. It is affordability. Um, so how do we make that work?
Mhm.
On my Instagram page, sorry, my light went out, so I'm all like, I don't know if you can still see me good.
Yeah, we see you.
Um, okay, cool. So on my Instagram page, I like to put up foods that I got that, you know, or create meals that are not expensive,
Hmm.
that are not chef, you know, just like you know, I cook for my family and I have to make things that they're going to enjoy. Like you
Hmm.
said before, when you think about the memories of food that made you feel good and grandma making the mac and cheese, and you know, you got the collard greens, and they used to put my mom put turkey butts. My mom put turkey butts in it. But you know, people do the ham hocks and
Hmm.
all that. So how do we eat healthy, or mentally think about it being healthy and good and nutritious for us when we're used to those things that used to bring us comfort? Because that's
Right.
what really a lot of eating is comfort.
Hmm.
um I try to implement that in the food that I make. And I try to show people, like, you know, I'm not a millionaire yet. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is what I do for my family. I have five, it's five of us in the house, you know, and my stepsons, they come over and they don't eat, they're not vegan. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I have to make food that they're going to enjoy as well. How do you do that? Spices, understanding different grains, you know, that you've
Mhm.
never explored before. You have to explore. You have to explore. You have to start looking up other local markets that you can get to. We
Mhm.
have to do a little bit more research, just a little bit more, because we want not only the food to be accessible, we want it to be affordable, but we want our food to taste good. You know, it can't be a hassle.
Right.
You know, and nobody wants a hassle because everybody's living is it's hard. It's hard out here, and that's the honest truth. You know, so it's unfortunate in many ways that so many people are struggling to get food just enough. So I mean, how can you deny if they eat food from a can, or if they eat, you know what I mean, the cheaper version or the non-organic? No, guess what? Still eat as much fruits and vegetables as you can, even if it's not organic. I say, because not everybody has it like that. Not everybody's in the position, you know. But we can make changes, and that's the first thing I start with. Transitioning is changes. You go in the kitchen, you open up the cupboards, and you see, you make a decision. All right, what am I gonna get rid of, or what am I not gonna buy anymore? I tell everybody, eat everything, eat everything. Don't waste nothing that you got. Eat it all, you know, and get rid of it, and then we're gonna start over next month.
Right.
And so when you're ready, this is how we're gonna do it, because I can't tell people to throw away food that they worked hard to pay for. But starting on your eating journey, on your journey, is going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of research so that
Mhm.
you can make some changes. And it can happen, and it's a process. It's a
I
process.
think
It's okay.
I think that's part of the issue a lot of us in Black and Brown communities come up against. We feel like it has to be this overnight, disciplined, rigid, strict situation.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just as much comfort and just as much love and just as much flexibility. It just comes with the added knowledge of what works for you. Like, it's really about figuring out what works for you
Uh huh.
and making that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so then where do we start? Do we start just, I know you said, I guess clear out the pantry.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we fill it with?
You throw out the processed foods, like I see in people's cupboards a lot of like mashed potatoes, the box mashed potatoes.
Mhm.
Um, if you think about it, potatoes aren't that much different. The price, the box potatoes is three something. It's the same thing to get a box of a bag of potatoes. You know, even the organic potatoes is no more than three bucks, and I know that for a fact. You know, start getting potatoes. And some people will say, oh, well, potatoes are starchy too. You know, we got to start somewhere. You know, you got to start somewhere. You can't just jump to, I'm going to start eating farro in the mornings and just have salads. That's not going to work for somebody who's probably eaten meat their whole life,
Right.
and, you know, really salty foods. And it's not going to work. You can't just jump into it. You got to, like I said, take your time. A bag of garbanzo beans, which is to me one of the best superfoods, one of the most powerful superfoods that your body should have every day in terms of protein. You
Hmm.
know,
That's chickpeas, right?
garbanzo, yeah, quinoa. Look at he fighting me. Quinoa is another one. Your cupboard should have that. Yeah, or cupboard. Well, I don't know. I sound like an old lady, but quinoa, chickpeas, beans, nuts like Brazil nuts,
Mhm.
walnut. You want to try to buy some things that are alkaline, like some snacks that are alkaline, some you know, the fruit especially. cactus fruit, fruits that are healing, that are going to start cleansing the body and flushing the toxins from the body. So when filling the cupboards with stuff like that, adding seeds, sunflower seeds, um, pumpkin seeds are one of my favorite. I do a smoothie bowl every single morning, and I add hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, coconut flakes, and I give that to the kids. Chia seeds, flax seeds. These uh, these items are like staple, especially in our home as a vegan. I don't want my kids to have any deficiencies.
Right.
And I bust that myth, because people say all the time, oh my gosh, your kids, they look really healthy. I'm like, oh, great thing. What do you do? How do they get their protein? That's the first question.
Yeah,
How do
right.
they get their, yeah, like, dude,
Nobody
you're
cares
really
about
trying to just
protein in real
expose
life.
me on. God. Okay. Just stay here with me. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
It's funny, like the minute they find out you're vegan or you don't eat meat, then they're concerned about protein. But they don't
Protein.
care about any other time. Like nobody's worried
No.
about protein. They just want to fight somebody.
Yeah. Like, and it's a battle that I pick and choose who I'm going to talk to about this, because some battles are just like with vaccines and stuff like that. Some battles are not necessary to have with certain people, because they already have their mind made up that you're not going to get nutrition, the proper nutrition, from even doctors, some doctors. It's awesome when I find a doctor, especially a doctor that pushes plant-based and exercise, and it's wonderful to find some of them that are like that, because they don't back those theories that you can't get calcium from fruits and vegetables. That's one of the
Right.
main sources, like leafy greens. And I'm not talking about just the romaine lettuce. I'm talking about alfalfa sprouts. I'm talking about watercress, wild arugula,
Never.
these things, parsley, you know, um, every day, dandelion greens, kale, collards. This is what your body needs every day. And it's okay if you have a lot of it, because you can get your amino acids, your protein, your calcium, your vitamin A for your eyes. No, not from carrots. Leafy greens. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to judge for us what works for our bodies. I'm not really a big believer on synthetic vitamins, because they're man-made. That's one of the reasons why I sell sea moss, elderberry syrup, and turmeric. I make these big giant turmeric drinks to help with pain, inflammation, heart disease. You have to find plant-based alternatives, and God made all these fruits and vegetables, so there
That
is
part.
something for everything.
That part.
There's something
Like
for everything. Every disease
perfect.
that's out there, there's something for everything. And I don't claim to cure anything. I don't claim to, all I know is my mom was pre-diabetic, and I worked with her for a little while. No diabetes, nothing in sight, you know. So I just fruits and vegetables, and plenty of them, you know. Um, that's it. That's who I am.
I'm not knocking it because the point of the People's Pride Project is to get us back to recognizing that you may not choose a vegan lifestyle. However, you need to recognize that you have more control than you think. You have
Yeah,
more power than you think. These
yeah,
things that we've been taught mean nothing. These plants that grow around us, we call them weeds. A lot of them
yes,
can save your life. A lot of
yes,
them can nourish your body. Like there's so many things that we take for granted.
mm-hmm.
It's like they're created for a reason. They're
Yeah,
here for a reason. They're
yep,
nourishing. Use
yes.
them.
Yes.
And a lot of us, the thing that separates is we don't have the knowledge,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
I know for you, and I know for me, it's a lot of it is about how do we disseminate the knowledge
Yeah.
to our communities. It's like, look,
Mhm.
I'm not telling you to, throw out
Yeah.
everything you ever bought. I'm not telling you to completely rewrite your life.
Mm-hmm.
How about easing these things into your life or
Exactly.
understanding what they can do to help you?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally.
So,
And that's the thing is easing it in. I never push veganism on anybody. It's not easy in this world to be vegan. You know, vegans get tempted. I know they
especially
don't want.
all the vegan fast foods and fake food. Like now, vegan has just as many Franken foods as regular foods.
Sure does. But what I always tell people though is when you want to transition, you might have to try some of those because here's the thing. You might end up sliding back because it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that I did that, with my honey. I was like, listen, we're gonna try these little sausage links and see if it can satisfy you to the point where he didn't even need that anymore. He doesn't even need certain things anymore. The kids don't
Mm-hmm.
need that anymore. They don't have to have the processed vegan because they're understanding how the body works. They're understanding, okay, so if I eat, and I tell my kids, I tell my son, like, if you eat this, you're gonna have superpowers. Like you're like, and it I swear it worked. It worked with him because if I make a green juice, a cold pressed juice with wheatgrass and spirulina and all the stuff that other kids would probably like cry about,
Mm-hmm.
and ginger and cayenne, he's drinking it. And so you have to start early. That
Mm-hmm.
helps too. You have to start early and you got to take it easy. It took me a while to transition my family because I'm be realistic. I'm not, you know, he's in the world. When you're in the world and he's going to birthday parties and, seeing all the other kids eat certain things, I was the mom that was making vegan cupcakes while, and sending my daughter to school
Mm-hmm.
with the cupcakes because they were having a party. And I'm like, oh, I don't want her to feel bad. So let me know when there's parties going on. And I
Right.
would do stuff like that, and it worked. It worked out for me. It worked out for us. But now she's at the point where she won't eat certain things. So it can start, but you have to start it early. You got
Mm-hmm.
to start right at the beginning, introducing new fruits, new vegetables, and making it fun, adding them into the kitchen, is the best part. And back here we got the garden. I was trying to sit like so I could angle it and show the garden, but having them get in the dirt and see the vegetables growing and me pulling the mint out to make the drinks and the
It's so
time and
important.
right, it's so important. And you just won't let me have a minute. Yeah, it's so important for them because now they understand this is food, not
Mm-hmm.
going, aisle, I would say 4 to aisle 10, where it's just boxed food and bags.
Mm-hmm.
They understand the produce section is where mommy's going to spend probably about 40 minutes as opposed to everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even going back to what you were saying as far as starting young, even if you don't start young, that doesn't mean the world is over.
Not
It
at all.
doesn't mean you don't have a choice. We can always
Yeah.
start where we are. And even my daughter caught on recently. My kids are 18 and 19. She caught on recently.
Ah,
She said, Mom, I can't even drink milk anymore because you stopped buying it and you've been buying all this other milk. this
yeah.
this oat milk and this almond milk. I don't
Yes.
even want that other stuff anymore. I was like, aha. So it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's great. Like, oh man, I mean, I hate saying it, but it's helped my kids to understand early why I don't give them the regular milk. Because I'm like, okay, so listen, regular milk straight up has feces in it. They allow a certain percentage of feces.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, the
Pus,
cow
all of
is
it.
so diseased. It's pus. It's so diseased. So all the disease that the cow has is in your cereal. And sometimes you got to give it to them like that because there's so many delicious alternatives, and what they're doing to the farmland is like, it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. It's so much. I think it's like the percentage of farmland that they use for cows and pigs is so high, as opposed to maybe like 4%, for the farmland for almonds, or
Mhm.
oats or something like that. And when you think about how destroyed, you know, how we're destroying the earth just for our greed, we go right back to that.
Right.
You know, it's a real big problem, and we can stop. We can. I think the milk industry has lost a lot of money in the past few years, and every time I
Mhm.
see it, I'm like, yeah, I love it. I love it. And like I say, if you're gonna eat meat, get grass fed, get
Mhm.
organic, because the prices will make you spend a lot less. You'll start, you won't be buying $18 pieces of little tiny meat, or however it's made. You
Mhm.
won't want to spend that much. So you'll start cutting back, to maybe once a week. Or if you're gonna eat fish, eat wild caught.
Mhm.
If you're going to, you know what I mean? If you're gonna drink milk, get organic. Just try to get the better version of whatever it is until you can break those, I don't like to say habit, until you can just start to slowly change.
Right.
The connection to food and disease is real, especially in our community. We have
Yes.
the highest rate for heart disease. Women, black women, 20 and over. I'm so freaked out by that we're walking around having heart attacks. We bust our butts, and I mean, I know I do with my kids and with trying to keep up with my business, trying to keep healthy, trying to mentally, you know what I mean? Not even just,
Mhm.
I'm talking about what I'm
Mhm.
eating, but there's
Mhm.
so many benefactors as to why we are sick, you
Yes.
know, where we're living, the air we're breathing. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't even know what we're living on. The stress in our homes, the people that we choose to lay down with, or the people we are friends with sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to start making conscious decisions. And it does all start with food, because once you start putting certain things in your body, certain food alters your DNA. Meat
Mhm.
definitely does.
Mhm.
So every week make a conscious decision to lose some things, some habits that you might have, had. Like if you eat pork rinds every Friday with some Pepsi, maybe make a switch up, get like some like a carbonated water with some ginger and some agave,
Mhm.
and instead of pork rinds, eat like some tortilla chips or something.
Right.
Try to just slowly switch it up until you feel more comfortable, and watch your body start feeling better.
And we also
You
have to recognize why we have certain habits, because I
Yeah,
think that's just as important as recognizing the habit itself. Like, say
yeah.
you do have this addiction to like pork
It
rinds and
is.
stuff. It is.
Mhm.
That's usually triggered by anxiety. So why do you
Yeah.
have this anxiety that you always need something crunchy, or why you're always like food?
Yes.
First, I always tell people food is the one area in life
Mhm.
besides sex where you use all five of your senses.
Uh-huh.
So there's really like that sensuality that comes with eating is really
Yeah.
informing the body
Yeah.
every time you
Yeah.
do something. Why are you doing it? Why are you craving it? Why do you want this texture? Or why do you want,
Yeah.
like, what are you looking for? And I
Mhm.
think that's part of what's important as well, to help us recognize as we go through these transitions. That's part of the
Yeah.
soul work that comes from food. Because food isn't
Yeah.
just what you put in your mouth, like it literally
Mm.
becomes you.
It does. Your cells, every time your tissues renew themselves,
Hmm.
it's a choice. And you can make a choice pretty much. Okay, um, my cells have kind of, rejuvenated themselves, and the spleen did its work and it's shooting out new cells. So what am I going to feed my body?
Hmm.
What am I going to give myself some zinc to help, with the reproduction of my cells? Am I going to, eat enough fruits and vegetables to get the minerals and vitamins that I need so that I can fix what I did last week or what I did 4 weeks ago, because the body is constantly regenerating itself. And that's
Mhm.
why sleep is so important. Sleep. I tell people, please don't text me after 9:30, because at 10 o'clock I'm asleep. And there are a few times, of course, I got kids, they wake up screaming, but between 10 and 2 is the best time to sleep, because that's when your hormones are regenerating.
Mhm.
And it's hard for people because people have insomnia, people have anxiety, people are sitting on the couch, watching TV, sedentary, because they can't sleep, or they're uncomfortable because they have sleep apnea, they can't breathe right,
Mhm.
and so when you're up, your body isn't able to fix itself, pretty much, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And during that time, it's supposed to be just still, at least be still, so that your body can just rest and everything can work. Don't eat anything during that time. I think eating should stop at least the latest 8 o'clock, at least the latest. um and that's hard because some people don't get off of work. Some people are
Right.
working night jobs. It's not easy, but once you get into routines, once you get into habits, then it'll be easier. But you have to set those routines and those plans for yourself. And you deserve that. So
Mhm.
you have to kind of figure out, okay, how am I going to make this work? Because I need to start over. A lot of mental illness comes from people who don't sleep well.
True.
Anxiety, and then you wake up in the morning and then we drink coffee. Sometimes we might have a cigarette. Sometimes we might go for that bacon, egg, and cheese, because that was the joint back in the day. Bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm not gonna act like I never tasted it. I have, you
Right.
know what I mean? But I also felt, and that was just me. I felt like something wasn't right. Like I shouldn't be eating this. It just didn't feel right for me. So I've always been that way. But in having it, when you wake up in the morning, you definitely need to break that fast. So
Mhm.
I would say I would wait until 11. I did intermittent fasting with a group that I had, and that worked so well for people because and not to be, vulgar, but I always talk about pooping. I'm like, by 11 o'clock, you should have already had your first bowel movement,
Mhm.
understanding the body, understanding how it works, understanding how to lose weight and get rid of the toxins.
Mhm.
That's what you have to know. You have to know when to eat, how to eat, when to eat, how, if you're eating fruits and vegetables, how much to eat really doesn't matter, to be honest. But it's a conscious thing. You have to start paying attention. And one thing I love is I started telling people to get a diary,
Mhm.
because I kept hearing, I don't eat so bad. I don't eat so bad. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's
Mhm.
fine. But still write it down.
Right. And then
You
you
know what I
look at it
mean? Like,
like, oh,
yeah. Oh, that donut I didn't realize that I had in the morning when nobody was looking. You got to
right.
be honest. You got to be honest. Listen, I'm a vegan junk food eater. Listen, I have my kids. We like to party. We're always out. Um, I go to Zucchini Bar or certain spots. Zucchini Bar is a vegan food place. They have
Mhm.
like amazing donuts, and it's in Newark, right, Lay? Yeah, I think it's in Newark, and they have some amazing stuff there, cakes and pies and all these wonderful treats. So I have to remind myself to take it easy sometimes, because we're human, and
Right.
you are 100% right about texture. Crunchy, salty, creamy is an emotional eating,
Mhm.
that need for affection. Salty is usually has something to do with anger. Crunchy is an anger. It's like a tight jawed people that clench their jaws a lot and grit their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You got some pent up stuff you got to get rid of. So there's all different forms of eating that we have. For me, I think sometimes I could just be a little greedy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't
You
nothing
know
wrong.
what I mean? Yeah, yeah. I noticed the anxious thing with me, with always trying to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find out our triggers.
Right.
Once we find out our triggers and we start jotting down what we're eating, that's the best way to start. So jotting down triggers, and it's good to log everything. Writing down your food that you're eating
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day, everything, even the gum that has aspartame in it, or even the Altoids that has byproducts of meat inside, or Tic Tacs, all these things that we don't
Recognize that
consciously
there's
think. Yeah, we don't
gelatin and
recognize.
animal bones and yeah.
Yes, red dye number 40 and canola oil.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of vegan food has canola oil. So we're not, just like you said before, we're not in the clear either. We have to check what we're eating. A lot of soy that's not organic is a big deal. Okay, because soy is a huge money maker. So you have to be very careful what type of soy that you use, because soy
Mm-hmm.
could be used for building a house and
Soy
creating
can turn into
wallpaper.
oils and everything else.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
really comes down to knowing your body and having a sense of
mhm,
personal awareness. Like just
yeah,
because something is a superfood or it's labeled
mhm,
as vegan or good, that doesn't mean it works for you. Like soy, if I eat soy, I'm going to sleep. My body's like,
mhm.
knocked out. Like
Yeah, yeah,
so it really depends on, and it comes with a personal awareness. Like, okay, what works
mhm,
for me? What can,
yeah,
how does my body respond to these different triggers, like you said, and these different
yeah,
things that I'm putting into it? Like, we
mhm,
really have to take the time and be more aware. And it doesn't say, I'm not saying that to mean make it a job, where
yeah,
it's dry and boring and I hate this and it's just a chore.
yeah,
But because we like to swing in extremes. It's like, okay,
mhm,
today I've decided I'm going to be vegan tomorrow.
yeah.
Now my life is over.
No, my life is over. It's no more fun.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I
That's
hate that.
not the point.
It's a myth, because I'm like, no, I'm like, man. But see, to me, a salad with beets and maybe apples and key lime juice with a little bit of ginger and
Mhm.
aminos. It might sound gross to somebody else, but to me, that's my heaven.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But and with some red onions and some garbanzo beans. But I've been doing this for a long time. So you'll get to a point where your taste buds will change.
That part.
So you keep saying, I don't like avocados. I don't like this. I don't like that, which I've heard so many times. But let me fix something for you first.
Hmm.
And then, oh, I don't like mushrooms. But guess what? You haven't tried everything. You probably made it your way.
Right.
You have to try new things. You got
Hmm.
to try new things, and you get to a point where, and it takes time for those taste buds to change, because like we said before, uh, food is a drug. The way that the food that we're eating,
Right.
it's a drug. Cocaine and sugar. If you look at the chemical, you know what I mean.
Hmm.
You already know what I'm going to say, right?
The
It's
chemical makeup is very similar.
very similar. It's I mean, it's like too similar. So when you think about the sugar intake, every time you're eating something that's refined, oh, be careful, white sugar, you're crystallizing your blood. So let's say you had that Pepsi that probably has, I don't know what, like 56 grams of sugar, 70 something grams of sugar, little packets. That's like a
Hmm.
packet, each gram. Could you imagine literally pouring 76 grams of, those little packets in to make it, you know what I mean? If you do it
Right.
yourself, it'll be different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like when you put it
So
in that framework, it sounds ridiculous.
it's crazy. The Mountain Dew, I think Mountain Dew is like the highest. It's you might as well just pour sugar in your mouth. At this point, and I was messing with my daughter because she had a can of ginger ale on the low the other day. Yeah, she had, and I laughed and I said, oh, and I said, oh, you trying to sneak that ginger ale, huh? I'm like, because for her, sweet is a big deal,
Mm-hmm.
and she's always been that way. So I make the ginger aid. I know she's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, don't put me out there. I make things for her, that are better alternatives. Like I said
Right.
before, you get that carbonated water, get the ginger, the pure ginger with the skin on it, organic
Mm-hmm.
ginger, and you juice that up. And I'm telling you, I've seen them eat. What are you doing, buddy? I've seen them eat things that I said, I'm gonna just give it a try and see how it goes. And they've done wonders. They even when they get around people, they ask, are you sure I can eat this? Is this okay for me? you know um and so it's easier when you start them younger.
Right.
It's a lot easier, but alternatives are a big deal until your taste buds change, until your mindset is ready, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that comes with it. It's a psychological as well
Mm-hmm.
as the physical. But when you're ready to feel good, you want to feel good when you wake up. You
Mm-hmm.
want to have energy. You know, start looking at natural plants and foods and herbs, burdock root,
Mm-hmm.
sarsaparilla for low iron.
Yep.
You want to get rid of toxins. Burdock root is wonderful for that. Sea moss, bladderwrack, especially for the men. Black seed oil. Uh, ooh, sorry. I'm like, I know your interviews don't usually look like this. This boy, he's ready to go to sleep, yo. I'm sorry.
Not even
Um,
concerned. We talk about natural. That's natural. That's what
so
we.
natural. Listen, I'm like
I'm not
everywhere I
even mad
go,
at
this
it.
boy just be pulling it out everywhere. I'm like, sorry, look, he got to eat too.
Right? But even talking about like the alternatives and substitutes, you really do as you go on this journey and you learn more and you acknowledge more and you really learn your own body. I used
Yeah.
to when I was transitioning more out of the standard American diet
Yes.
to,
Sad diet.
yeah. Those burger substitutes and meat substitutes and things were like they were my go-to.
Yeah.
I had one last week and I was like, yo, this smells like dog food. Like I don't even want to eat it. I was like, this is
Yeah.
kind of gross. So you really do grow through the process
Yeah.
and
You
let
do.
your body inform you of what it
Mhm.
wants and what it needs. We've become
Yeah.
so detached.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
listen, we watch the studies and we watch Instagram, and this trainer says this, and this person says this, and
I
we're trying
know.
to navigate this space and listen to your own motherfucking body.
Yeah. Straight up. Straight up. Yep.
It will tell you what it wants, what it needs, when it
Yep.
doesn't.
Yep.
We need to go back and get in touch with that part
Yeah. Yeah. Listen,
because we've strayed
and
too
some
far.
of that comes with having some peace of mind,
Mm-hmm.
which as a mom of three, I don't get that much of. For my friends and people that are around me, you guys know, with me starting a business, I'm like here, there, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I get in the tub though, and I put my little salts in, and I get my candles sometimes, and I just shut the door, and I'm like, leave me alone. I get up earlier. I try to, um, and I just have to kind of zone out. And one of the moves that I do it just to kind of focus is I just lay down and bring my body forward and just kind of let everything kind of just work. And I just take deep breaths, like little quick, breaths, and just try to relax myself. And then I make a plan for the day. And I do this almost every single day. These are the things that I want to get done. Realistically, this is probably what I'm actually going to get done.
Right.
But when you start making those plans, you can figure out what you're doing. And it's a process. It's nobody has, even the people that are online, the coaches that I see, um, they're not all together. They don't have it all. It's just what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Not every day is perfect for them. So don't try, like you said, don't try to follow what you see online. Don't try to follow these, people are looking perfect, their bodies, people are getting surgery. And I'm
Mhm.
not, there's nothing, I have nothing against what other people do, but I'm just saying we're trying to reach goals that are not realistic.
Right.
We have to stick with what we can do for now until, until it becomes habitual,
Mhm.
and that's okay. It's okay if it takes you a year. I got a picture of somebody that means so much to me, so very special. She joined my detox group a long time ago, last year in January, I think, or something in February. She joined the detox. She's lost 60 pounds.
Mhm.
Yeah. And she sent me a picture today, and I was like, I'm about to cry now thinking about it. Cause like for me, as crazy and goofy as I am, it means so much to me that that people trust me to say,
Mhm.
listen, we're gonna start this journey. It's not gonna be perfect. You're gonna have some times where you mess up. I don't care about any of that. The goal is to get you to understand what you need, what your body needs, what you need to put into your body, and what you need to get out. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So sometimes we think, you know, it's gonna be like every other diet. It's gonna be like every other time I tried. But let me tell you something. She was ready. This time, she was ready, and she sent me that picture. I haven't, I delivered. She's in New York, so I deliver it to her every now and then. And this last picture she sent me just blew me under the water because I said, look at what you did, and she was
Right.
thanking me, but I'm like, look at what you did, because you changed your mindset. And she started with the sea moss, and she started with the detox pills, and I'm talking about plant-based
Mhm.
sarsaparilla, like I said before, burdock root, nettle leaf, you know um uh all the herbs that I try to sell or I put into drinks or whatever it is. And I talk about constantly on my stories. um she just stuck with it. She stuck with it. So your mind has to be there. If she's on, I'm so proud of you. Yeah, it's I got another client that I work with. Her father had cancer, and recently, and she stuck with the sea moss. She stuck with the elderberry syrup, and she started giving him to fatten him up in a healthy way. Hemp seed
Mhm.
smoothies. I gave her like some smoothie recipes and turmeric, the turmeric drink that I make. And she told me maybe about 2 months ago that the doctors took him off of all the medication that he was on,
Oh wow.
and they said whatever it is that you're doing, just keep doing it because he's doing really, really well.
That's
And
one
so
thing I've heard. I'm
these
sorry.
testimonies, yeah, like these testimonies are powerful, because I'm like, listen, I'm just telling y'all to eat plants and giving you this or that, but you guys are doing the work. So it has to be you to take it every day and understand. You're not going to feel like you want to jump up and just do a dance every single day. It's going to be
Right.
some days it's going to be hard, and you're going to go backwards, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to fall off.
I think
I
being
am.
easy with yourself is so
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
Like we get
Hmm.
in this space where we think we have to be strict and regimented, and somehow that's going to miraculously get us the results that we want. It might
Yeah.
do it in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to go back to exactly what you were running from. Like
Yeah.
we
Exactly.
really have to be easy with ourselves. And what you were
Yeah.
just saying, as far as the doctors being like, "Oh my God, I don't know what you did." You know exactly what we did.
Yeah.
First of all, allopathic medicine has its space. I'm not
Yeah.
knocking it. There's
Oh,
more
not at all. Yeah.
necessary. However, you have to take control of your life.
Hmm.
You have to be able to take advantage of what you have at your own disposal
Yeah. Yeah.
and really recognize, hey, I can do this. I can change my life. I can change my diet. I
Yep.
can self medicate with things
Mhm.
that are around me, things that grow out of the ground, things that are very,
Yeah.
very simple to access. It's not just about the doctor gave me a pill and this is going to change everything for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, some of that medication, you take it, and there's no coming back from some of it. Now,
Yeah.
listen, if I get my arm severed off or something like that, give me some stuff. That's different. I'm not sitting here saying that going to the doctor is a bad thing, because listen, I don't know any. We have a lot of holistic healers around,
Mhm.
but there's not that many that I know that could listen to my heart and go, okay, you need this herb. Nowadays, we don't have a lot of people around that do that, because a lot of people
Right.
think it's crazy, it's witchcraft, it's this, it's that. It's so many misconceptions and stereotypes and theories that are just like, so, listen, we used to be really connected
Mhm.
in a way where a lot of I laugh because a lot of things that they think were child games, like swings, seesaws, were actually used to help diagnose people.
Mhm.
This is all African studies. A lot of these things, and it's amazing to understand that. We were able to, for real, we were able to listen to the body, the soul, the mind, and to figure it out. But now, once they introduce computers and technology, we're so far from it. But now, it is what it is. We have to go to the doctor to get the blood lipid profile, and that's one thing that I like to do. Is I like to look at the lipid profile and to see, make sure that I'm not deficient in anything, because then I'm going to take that and I'm going to say, okay, I need to boost my vitamin A. I need
Mhm.
to take a little bit more magnesium, heart, for the heart,
Mhm.
potassium, for the mentality, strengthening the organs. Was it? I always tell people phosphorus for the bones. So what do I need to eat because of my deficiencies? That's how you have to look at it as well. And like I said, be careful with the synthetic vitamins, because that's man-made. And too much of that can create a bigger problem. We have the soluble and insoluble vitamins, the ones that store in the fat and can
Mhm.
cause more damage. I think it's like hypervitaminosis or something like that. um you have to be very careful, because people take, it'll be like 5,000, and you're like, whoa, these milligrams, it's like they overdo it, and it can't be overdone. You have to get plants. You have to
Right.
get plants. It's the best form, it's the best way.
And so much
Let
of
me
that comes from just
put
not
something down for
knowing.
me, please.
Like we get these prepackaged vitamins. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess this is what I'm supposed to take. They're not recognizing, what goes into the capsule, what is mixed
Yeah.
in with the plant. You
Yeah.
say it's X amount of milligrams, but you don't know what your daily requirement actually is. And then you're overdosing on like, there's so many nuances to
Yeah.
what we take for granted and consider normal. And then we
Yeah.
wonder why we're sick.
Yeah. 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 Even dealing with women and things like infertility or menstruation. This is really important. Fibroids.
Mm-hmm.
We as Black women a lot of times deal with these mosquito bites are like mosquitoes are biting me in my forehead. Put something on for him, boo boo. Um, yeah, I had fibroids, and they weren't large, but I had fibroids, and I said, okay, what do I need to do? It was brought on upon during pregnancy. What do
Mm-hmm.
I need to do? I'm not going to take any medication. We're not doing surgery. What do I need to do to get rid of them? So I started my sea moss journey and I stuck to it. I started my leafy greens and my juicing, and that's really what brought on a lot of what I do today, is me figuring out what I need to do for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And once I figured out, and that's usually everybody's journey or story, or why,
Mm-hmm.
they do what they do, is I have to start with me first. So once I figured out what I needed to do to heal myself, I said, you know what, this is it became me. It became who I am. And my friends always laughed at me because they said, no, Quia, she didn't eat at certain places. She didn't just put anything in her mouth. Like she was really, I had a friend call me today and tell me like, you were always just conscious about where you ate and what you ate. And I was like, really? I was this way, as a youngster. And they were like, you were, um, and so being that I have a lot of friends around me that have some conditions and concerns, I'm like, I'm going to start with you guys. I'm going to start with you guys. I want to help you as much as I can to learn we have to learn how to re-eat, how to eat and how to train our bodies and heal ourselves, because I don't want to help a whole bunch of other people, which is what it's all about, if I can't help my own friends and my own family and the community that's right around me,
Right.
And so the fact that people are, I just got a text just now that said, where's my order? And it's a blessing. It's heartwarming. And I know I'm kooky. I know I'm just like, I've always just been this like person with a lot of energy, and a people lover, and really serious about helping others kind of find who they are through food and through health. It's so important to me. It's so important to me, and I'm really dedicated to it, because I didn't know how this was going to change other people's lives. I didn't know how it was going to affect other people, and I'm still trying to grow and learn and maintain everything that I do, and learning Western civilization, and modern medicine in comparison to what I'm pushing and believe in and have seen change some people's lives already, my own life, So I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And I think we can all do this, because I've seen some people who were like bona fide, meat eaters. I'm talking about like chitlins and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some turnarounds, just amazing turnarounds, and it can be done. You can reverse disease. I'm not claiming to cure anything. I'm not claiming to be a doctor or a medicine woman, but you can reverse so much, so much. So before we decide to go into the doctor and take whatever they're giving us, we need to do the research.
Yep.
We need to figure out what we can do for ourselves. A lot of people that suffer from depression, it's deficiency in your body. It's some of the food that you're eating that's weighing and clogging up those arteries, and the blood is not going to the brain properly. You're creating blockages everywhere, and that's what strokes happen. Diabetes, the amount of sugar that we're not thinking about. So we can slowly, every day, make a change. We can make a change. The food can be good. The food could be tasty. It could satisfy your soul, because remember, we're doing it to thrive. We're doing it to thrive. We're doing it for longevity. I don't want nobody wiping my butt when I get older.
Okay.
I want to be 90 years old being able to wipe my own butt.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not fair for me to do that to my kids. Our bodies are made to heal themselves. Like, turn that light on. Our bodies are made to heal themselves. So, when are you going to start? Because it's a mindset.
Absolutely.
So every day, when do you decide? Today is going to be the day where I make the decision to eat after 11 o'clock. Something small. Start there. To grab a salad. I did like a salad, eat green challenge for a week.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, like something simple. And whether you do it or not, I said I did it. A lot of people did, and I love it. I love that people started joining in. after the week was over, and I was cracking up. I was like, oh, okay, good for you. You
Mhm.
know, water challenge. How much water are you drinking a day to assimilate those vitamins and minerals that you're putting in your body? Because they have to go somewhere. But if you're
Right.
not drinking enough water, then where are they gonna go? You know, are we chewing our food properly? The digestive
Mhm.
system. The
That's a good.
digestive system begins right here in the mouth. So everything that we're breaking down, think about it. Your cells absorb what you eat.
Mhm.
So you are what you eat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So,
It's funny you were talking about your challenges. I've been eating by colors every day
mm,
to
I like that.
see what the different nutrients that come from the different coloring foods and how it makes me feel and all of
Yeah,
these different things. So it's like I'll have a red day or a yellow day or an orange day
yeah.
so each yeah. So I get play
That's
with
awesome.
your
I like
food, man.
that.
Play with your
Yeah.
food.
Get in there and chop up some veggies. Chop up some veggies. And baby, I think he's getting bit. He needs clothes on. Yeah, everybody's getting bit. So take him inside. Okay. You want to go inside? Or you want to stay with me, of course, right? He's not gonna go. You putting on something boring. You got to put on like a singing video. He didn't like animals. He's a vegan baby. He's a
Yay.
vegan baby. There's a huge difference in my pregnancies, from my daughter till now. Like the knowledge that I have now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love the fact that he won't even. He's very picky. He eats mostly fruits. And it's interesting because his doctor said to him, like, he needs a shirt really bad. His doctor said to him, you know, what are you feeding him? Oh, he's coming behind you. What are you feeding him? And I said, well, if he doesn't feel like eating, the most he'll eat is fruit or he'll nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, well, you can't just do that. He's got to have something else. I said, lady, I was like, what do you want me to give him? I can't force feed him if all
Mm-hmm.
he's eating is fruit. And he'll drink a green juice if I make. He'll drink, that too. And smoothies. He loves smoothies. And the breast milk, I'm like, he's getting what he needs. He weighs 20 something pounds as a 1 year old. That sounds normal to me,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of said to me, with the breastfeeding, well, how's he sleeping? And I said, he wakes up to nurse. And I said, sometimes it's just a little hard. She said, well, that's on you. And I'm like, he's one. He's one, um if he's not eating that much because he just doesn't want to, then the breast milk is the best thing for me to give him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I know I have to drink enough water. I can always tell when I don't drink enough water because he may not poop as much.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I do, I'm like, see, right away, it's right away. So when you notice as a mom, for all the moms out there, pay attention to your kids, and go with your gut, go with your instinct, because you'll be told so many different things from, what how heavy your kids should be, or what they should be eating. And I'm like, my kids are not deficient in anything. No anemia.
Number
No.
one, a
Uh-huh.
lot of those charts aren't even made with us in consideration.
Yeah.
Those come from other folks with
Yeah, no.
other lifestyles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, how does that even relate to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Listen. Yeah, because my daughter, I was told, was too small. And I'm like, did you see me? You know what I'm saying? And I eat. Like, I get
right.
down. You know, everybody's body is different. Everybody's body is, and that's the same thing like when you're trying to change your lifestyle or trying to get rid of those toxins. Everybody's makeup is different. It's not going to be the same. Just like cancer treatment isn't going to be the same for everybody. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
dieting isn't going to be the same for everybody. It's not the same because I'm not the same person. I am uniquely made unlike anybody else, and you are uniquely made unlike anybody else. So what might work for you? You're wondering why she's losing weight so fast. Her metabolism may be different.
Right.
The way she's absorbing vitamins may be different. Malabsorption is a serious thing. A lot of reasons why people have deficiencies is because of malabsorption. Maybe too much oil in your body. The wrong oil. You eating that canola oil or vegetable oil. The best oils to cook with, I always tell my folks, avocado oil
Mm-hmm.
is to me is the best. To me, avocado oil is like, I don't cook with olive oil. Olive oil is supposed to pour on top of your food because
Mm-hmm.
it destroys the polyphenols inside. So you got to think about the compounds and how oils are made. When you heat it up, it destroys those compounds. So avocado oil, you can burn all the way up to 500, and you want to try to make sure you get pure avocado oil because they mix a lot of
Mm-hmm.
oils. So I think Chosen Foods is a good one. They sell it at Costco's. Costco's can be a really good place. um, they do sell some organic produce. So for those that are looking, like large families like mine that are looking for places that they can go where they can get organic produce, Costco's, man, they've been doing pretty good lately. They even have like the powders, seaweed,
Mm-hmm.
it's organic, you know. Um, I do a lot of jackfruit, and the jackfruit is really, really, you can get that from ShopRite. You can go to certain stores. It's just about, like I said, research. I
Right.
got my seeded watermelon this week, and I bought like a million of them because I'm like, you know, we don't know when we're gonna see seeded watermelon again.
And it's so hard to find.
Yeah. We need seeded watermelon. We need seeded fruits. If you're eating fruits
Mm-hmm.
that are not filled with seeds, what are we eating? you know, um, they're what happens is they are getting the fruit that doesn't have that many seeds, and they're regrowing it,
Right.
reseeding it, and yeah. So, um, it's just a matter of, like we said, keep saying before, doing that research. Hey, can you turn that light on? Yeah, have him run over there and turn the light on. Light keeps going out. It's just a matter. It's just cool. Okay. Okay, that's the 4-year-old. So yeah, it's just a matter of doing the research,
Mm-hmm.
and finding out, what I can get and where, so you can kind of map out where you
And
have to go when you're shopping.
and when we say doing the research, it doesn't mean you have to be poring over textbooks for hours at a time. It's just because you say things that people are like, oh my God, I don't want to do all
I
that
know,
work.
yeah,
It's
true.
not that. It's
Hmm.
being aware, taking the little bit of extra to really figure it out. Like
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
that complicated. It's not like the
No,
information is hidden in a tome in a pyramid somewhere and you have to
yeah.
cross the desert to find it. It's just being self-aware and
Yeah.
recognizing the changes that you need to make, what works for your body, and
Hmm.
how to get what you need.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
not complicated.
That's it. That's it.
Because the minute it starts sounding complicated, people are like, nope, not doing it. I'm gonna just keep
I know,
doing
but
what I'm
that's the
doing.
thing. That's where we get stuck. Is, oh, it's too much. It is not. It's where, type in Google, because Google does everything for us now. Where can I find seeded watermelon? And you can, get some sort of direction.
Mm.
Um, the one thing that I find hard is seeded oranges. So I don't drink orange juice at all, because the orange juice that we have in the store is obviously manufactured.
Mhm.
And if you notice, they all taste the same. They have the same amount of chemicals in them. They have the same amount of,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, sugar and stuff to make it taste good and taste the same, that feeling. But that creates so much acidity in the body and creates so much mucus. the amount of sugar that's in orange juice. And you know, you can get even organic oranges, but if they don't have seeds, I stay away from it. Seeded
Right.
grape, you know, and sometimes you can't find that stuff organic. So that's when you wash it with a little bit of key lime and apple cider vinegar and let it soak for a while. That's okay, you know, because listen, sometimes you're not gonna find everything organic.
You got to make it do what it do.
You got to make it do what it do, straight up. And I try to post like where I found food and fruits, and you know, I always talk about Costco. I'm always in Costco doing videos like, guys, look, you know, or H Mart,
I
and
love the ethnic stores.
yes, yes, yes. Like you could find, and sometimes it's not so good. Like some of the exotic fruits, I'm like, come on, y'all. I'm like, this thing, like my fruit is like, I'm hitting it, it's like hollow, it's nothing inside. But they'll have like cacao and gooseberries and stuff that people have never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know, you go to the local H Marts. They have some. Little Ferry has a new one, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they'll have soursop. You know, one of the to me one of the best fruits on this earth. You
Sometimes they have
know,
the actual jackfruit too.
they had, yeah, but listen, let me tell you something. Unless you're like me, like I'll eat a jackfruit straight up, like I'll just tear it apart,
Mm-hmm.
like a gorilla. Like I love jackfruit, or even elephants. They'll eat it whole. Yeah, like certain animals will eat. They'll eat it whole. I love to tear apart a jackfruit and eat it, but don't go out buying a big giant jackfruit if you
You
don't
know,
know what to do with it, because then
right.
it's gonna be wasted.
You're gonna be,
Um,
you're gonna give up.
yeah, yeah. You could do a lot with jackfruit. I make like salmon croquets or
Mm-hmm.
like fish fritters with it, and I
Mm-hmm.
use either the kelp powder or nori, seaweed, and I add garbanzo beans inside. So you mix that up and season it like how you would your, you know, natural. Yeah, yeah, and you can do it like that. Um, Jackfruit, I do like a pulled pork. You know, I make my
Mm-hmm.
own little barbecue sauce and
We could do a whole nother talk on just recipes and food. Let
yeah,
me tell you,
yeah, it's so much.
y'all are tasting seasoning. You're not tasting the food.
Trying to explain that to people because I'm like, would you eat this? Just flesh? Like, would you just eat
Right.
this? No. So why not
Mhm.
get some fruits and veggies and transform them? You know, I hear, you know, oh man, you know, you eating bird food. No, I'm eating food that I know is gonna save my life and
Right.
wasn't dead.
Right.
And like I said, I never hate on what anybody else is eating. Even people show me pictures. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
cool. You know, do your thing. Like, I have a soft spot. Veganism has given me a soft spot for animals lately. Like, I mean, in a way where I'm like, I almost can't smell it or I can't touch it or I can't, because I'm
Mhm.
just like, heck, man. You know, it changes you.
Mhm.
It changes you. I see the little piggies and I'm like, no. I'm like, you know, or the mom or nursing, you know, the cows and
Mhm.
the way that I feel now is so different. You know, I'm like, wow, they really, and the way that they handled the animals, the way that they, you know, the baby chicks, the male chicks just are exposed.
Right.
They're just exposed. Um, not exposed. What's my word? What I'm trying to say?
Disposed of, yeah.
They just dispose of them. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm like, this is how we're living now, where we just don't care. We're just desensitized and we just don't care.
Mhm.
So I'm like, how do we get here? Goes back to greed again. You know, it goes back to greed.
And
So
I think it's one thing to recognize how we got here, but how do we move from it? How do we
how
move
do we move?
past it is the
Yeah,
next stage.
yeah,
And I think that's where we need to focus our attention. Like,
yeah,
yeah, we're here. Okay,
yeah,
fuck it, we're here. Now what?
yeah,
Now
yeah,
what do we do? How do we grow? How do we get better? How do we keep moving beyond
yeah.
where we are?
I mean, for me, it's knowing that, mm, you know, my grandmother has diabetes, and my grandfather died from a stroke. Um, totally preventable, you know. So most of everybody that I know in my community that has passed, it's been something that was chronic illness that could have been prevented.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're asked, what is your why? I
Yep.
don't think I need that much more of an explanation.
Yeah.
You know, it hurts. It hurts friends or family members that have passed away. And you know that they had so much more life to live. And the fact that we let food control our minds, our souls, take over our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
and to the point where we just don't care anymore.
Right.
And when I said I don't want nobody else having to take care of me, I mean that. I want my kids to see me in a light and maintain that light and say, that's my mom. She took
Mm-hmm.
care of herself. She did the best she could. Things are inevitable. I'm not going to say that things don't happen, but you can do your part to try to maintain that longevity for as long as you can and be in sound mind and be, just in tune with yourself. You can do that. You don't have to think. Some people think getting old is like, oh, it's just downhill from here. And I'm like, "Dang." I heard somebody say that at a party um, 2 days ago, that it was just downhill, or yesterday. That I don't even remember. um, downhill after 30. And I'm like, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm creeping up the ladder in my 30s. So I'm like, I'm feeling really good right now. My skin is clearing, veganism helped with that. My hair is blossoming. My mom, who is a cancer survivor, is still here, you know.
Hey, Jackie.
So yeah, I mean, no, no, we don't have to accept that old age means pain and and,
Mm-hmm.
and grumpiness and medication. People have tables filled with medication that they take every morning.
I
You
tell them I could take me out to the river and just leave me there. just,
know what I'm saying? Like,
if that's what my life comes out, just leave me there.
yeah, that's not for me. That's not for me, and it shouldn't be for you. It shouldn't be
Mm-mm.
for you because your body, like I said, it's almost like you're forcing your body to not heal itself
That part.
because it's trying so hard. Women, when you have bacterial infections, don't eat things with more sugar. Don't eat the sugar. Don't go out and buy cranberry pills because that's not gonna, help you.
Mm-hmm.
Eat an alkaline diet for a week. You can eat an alkaline diet for a week and see the difference. Um, they have all these like poom poom sprays, and I don't know, I instantly have a Jamaican accent when I say that. But the sprays and the creams and I'm like, all you gotta do is eat some fruits and vegetables. If you're doing all that to stick all this stuff up in you to make things smell better, then what's the issue?
Right.
Because there's another issue that we're having,
Right.
and not that everybody
Perfume
uses.
won't cover it.
Yeah, listen, not everybody's vagina is going to smell like cucumbers and flowers, because the vagina is one of the most acidic areas that the body has, right? But it takes time to heal, and that's natural too. So don't think that it's a big deal. Oh my gosh, I got an infection or this or that. Take the time to heal your body. What's giving you the infection? Is it soap? Because
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, different soaps. Is it men? No, no,
Yeah.
no. You could have it, yeah. Is
Yeah.
it the soap he's using? Is it the food? Is it some people don't even realize that they have mosquitoes going down my chest. Dang. They have what is it? Allergic reaction to condoms.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you're constantly doing, repetitive things and not realizing, not writing down, what did I do today? That's why the diary is so important, because when you're not feeling good, you need to write down, what did I do today? What did I do differently? What did I do differently with my body? And am I drinking enough water?
Mm.
So that's the first thing, is when we have any type of concern, a headache, um, infection, you feel something coming on or something's changing, stomach ache, that's the first thing you should do, is say, let me drink water first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to take an aspirin to numb all my transmitters in my body and just block the feeling and numb the pain. Let me try to figure out what's going on first, by drinking some water, by eating a salad. Um, those are the first things that I do in trying to figure out, why do I have a headache? And a headache ain't nothing but toxicity,
Right.
So um,
At the end of the day, it all goes back to being self-aware.
yeah.
Like really taking the time and paying attention to be self-aware. And like you
Mhm.
said from the very beginning, we're looking for convenience. We're looking for the quick fix.
Yeah.
I'm too busy. I'm too this. If your life matters to you, if your body
Yeah.
matters to you, take the moment to be
Take a
aware.
moment. Yeah. Yep.
That would solve so much of it right then and there.
So much. I mean, 30 minutes to yourself in the morning to plan your day, to plan what you're going to eat. Even if it's not solidified, even if it's just like, I know I want to eat a salad. I know
Mm-hmm.
I want to eat some string beans. Even if you just write that down and it's not a whole meal, let me take 10 minutes to try to meditate. 10 minutes. Let me take 30 minutes to try to exercise. If I want to do 10-minute increments, that's the best way. And do it every day, at least 5 days out of the week. And you'll see an improvement in everything that you do, in your sleep, in your heart rate,
Mm-hmm.
in your blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 10 minutes, 10-minute increments to equal up to a 30-minute workout. And if you're going to do 10 minutes, let it be a high level, let's
A
sweat for 10
legit
minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, not like, all right, I'm getting ready to start. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like, get in there. Get in there every day. It's okay. It's not like, oh God, these health conscious nuts, I'm just gonna let it be. And but let me tell you something. When you sick in a hospital bed, or and they can do anything to you in a hospital. And I'm not laughing. I just remember being in the hospital with my mom recently, because she had pneumonia, and they were trying to give her insulin. And they were trying to give her stuff, and she said, I don't want that. What were they trying to? They were trying to give her something, because they kept saying something was, her sugar was high. And I said, well, and my honey's sister said this as well. She said, well, when they're giving you fluid, sometimes those packs have either sugar or sodium in them.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to give you the insulin, but she's not home where she's eating regular. She's eating the food that they give you in the hospital, with the little gelatin snack,
Mm-hmm.
and the mashed potatoes with the cream and the milk in it. And you know what I mean? So I'm like, how could they really measure what's going on with you if they're feeding you this type of food and they're giving you fluids that have additives in it, you know? So you have to also have people around to help you when you're not feeling well. It takes a, it takes, it's a family thing. You can't be the only one in your house that's eating a certain way. You have to create an environment where everybody is willing to try.
Right.
And you, as the matriarch, you, as the woman of the house, trying to keep your husband alive or your honey alive, or your kids, maybe a little bit on the heavier side and they have asthma. Okay, when do we say, okay,
Right.
I need to kind of figure out what to do? You have to make the decisions, because if you're the one shopping and you continue to buy the
Mhm.
same things, the same foods,
Yep.
and nothing's changing, it's only getting worse, then who's to blame?
It's when you gotta have that aha. It was like, aha,
Yeah. Yeah.
get it. I
So
understand. Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we have to get a little strong, get some backbone as mothers, as husbands, as friends. You're around your friends and you see your friends getting real heavy, and I mean unhealthy. You know
Right.
what I mean? I don't mean just you thick, like I don't think my honey, he's on this you know I think he's like 95% vegan, I would say. Every
Mhm.
now and then he's like into the fish.
Mhm.
He's a pescatarian. I was trying to pull him all the way over, but he's not ready for that. But if he eats fish once out of 3 months, you know what I'm saying? He'll
Right.
just have a taste. I'm not gonna say don't eat that. But you gotta slowly just bring him over to your side, and you have to be creative. You gotta be a little bit creative. I'm working on a book right now, and I didn't realize everything that people talk to me about. Like, I don't know where to shop. I don't know what seasonings to use. How do I make this taste good? That's what I'm trying to pour into this book.
Mhm.
And it's an interesting struggle because I'm literally taking what everybody's telling me every day and trying to implement it into the book so that I can help
Mhm.
and and give people kind of insight on where to go, what to use, what foods groups should they be eating every day or have, like what are the staples,
Mhm.
you know, um, for making sure that people don't end up with deficiencies. Because some people aren't going to eat uh, alfalfa sprouts
Right.
every now and then. They're not going to eat certain things that is going to give you the minerals or the vitamins that you need. So you have hemp seed, which I'm crazy about, which gives your body all the amino acids, the essential amino acids that your body does not make itself. And so having that and dates and things that help the brain and the functions of the body that we don't even think about every day. We don't even think about how is the body working.
Most people don't honestly know how their body works. They just go through the
Yeah.
motions and follow their personal routines.
Yeah. So having that understanding and adding it into the book will kind of be like, so when you do this, you're helping this, this is working out, even the part about just exercising just a little bit, just get up and just move around a little bit, do 100 jumping jacks now. I want it to be fun. I want it to be a book that people will open up and go, okay, God, I know I need to do this. Let me look at what she has going on here. And exotic fruits, I'm crazy about different fruits. It's a lot that's going to go into it, and I really hope that it'll be helpful to people to get them started, and kind, because you got it. Like, I make jokes, and my family, they get on me so bad because a lot of my family, their meat, they love their meat. They love their fried
Mhm.
chicken. They love their French fries, fast food, pastas, milk. And I don't. There's no judgment, but I always say just take a little sea moss. Just eat, just let's try to add in a few salads, and it works. I've seen them do so many changes, and I'm like, you guys are blowing my mind at what you're doing, and I I'm like, wow, you know, it can be done. It can be done, and it can be done slowly, because you have to want it for yourself. You have to not want to be sick, you know.
Mhm.
You have to not want. People wake up with stomach aches every day, bloated, can't poop. After every meal, you should be pooping at least. 20 minutes into it, maybe 20, I would say the longest, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours after you eat. If you're not pooping at least 3 times a day, there's a lot of toxicity in the body. Um, that's a big deal because that means we're just storing everything
Right.
that, you know what I mean? And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So,
But
yeah,
these are all things that can be corrected.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I love it. I love. Thank you for the platform for being able to run my mouth because I just feel like it's so much information to give,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like to sound so scientific about it,
Mm-hmm.
even though that's how I learned, through reading and through school. Because, like I said, I'm learning the Western way, and I'm learning, the way that we were taught the African genome and how
Mm-hmm.
it all, so, and the metabolizing, the homeostasis, bringing the body back to its natural state, and how important it is to, that's when you kind of, I hear a lot of people talk about their third eye, and I'm like, you can't find it if you're clogged up.
That's true.
You can't find it if you're clogged up. So the memes and the post that I keep seeing, I'm like, cool. I love that people are trying to reach it. We're all trying to reach it. We're all trying to find that zen or that
Mm-hmm.
peace. Um, and listen to our bodies and listen, but it starts with what you're putting inside your body. The lotions, the soaps, the hair dye, um,
Mm-hmm.
finding a natural alternative to all of that. The lipstick, the toothpaste,
Yeah. There's
you
so
know.
many hidden pollutants that we don't even recognize in our day-to-day routine.
Mhm. Mhm. So it takes time.
Yeah.
There's a lot on the market now. You can just honestly, I make my own toothpaste sometimes with turmeric, coconut oil, yeah, and a little bit of ginger, lemon, and you can mix up your own. You can make your own. You don't have to buy everything. Just like that's what I love about your page because I'm like, I was watching the you put the little avocado seed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at just the hacks and the ideas that you have about, and I know how my mom always talks about how creative you are. And she said, "Oh my God, you should see her house. And she made the drapes and she did this and she put that and the girl could cook and oh my gosh." And and so, she's a powerhouse woman. And I said, yeah, I said, that's what we need leaders. We need leaders that look like us,
Mm.
that are confident and comfortable and understand their bodies and who they are and just are relatable.
Mm-hmm.
We need that because then it'll show I can do this. I can do this. I can live like this. I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I can create for myself. If I needed to live in the forest, you know
That part.
what I mean? Like
And it's not to
we
say
don't.
you have to, but if you needed to.
What if, yeah? And let me tell you, I'm gonna be like, Sheena, between you and my honey dip, because I'm telling you, the man could like create a fire out of like beans. I don't know, like he's he's so creative and so like he's amazing. So I'm gonna have him and I'm gonna have you. And we're gonna grow some food and we're gonna get it.
Listen.
Yeah, because we have no idea where to begin.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I love your page. I love what you put out. You know, the hacks are important. It's important to see how to recycle and how we can reuse things that we just normally don't care and throw away. You know, we need that in our community. We need that circle. because we're living so fast. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's a demand for us to be better than they think we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to live that way. I just kind of do my own thing, you
And there's
know.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, yeah. Like I've always been a wild child. Go against the grain, and and I found that I figured it out. I kind of found, where I'm at now,
Mm-hmm.
in life. And so helping and healing and just being a part of the community is the greatest gift to me. It's a good feeling. So I hope that people join. I hope people like come and follow us, not just watch, because sometimes it
Right.
takes people a little time to get into it, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch. You could definitely watch, but let's take the steps. Let's take the steps. Let's decide to try some things out that you see, and see where it goes. You know, try these challenges, and don't give up.
That part. Be easy with yourself.
Be easy.
It's a step by step situation. It ain't gonna happen overnight. You've been living your life for X amount of years.
Yeah.
Be easy with yourself.
Yep.
That's all I can tell anybody. The changes will come.
Yeah.
You gotta move through it. It ain't gonna be tomorrow.
Yeah. That's life, and that's life. I think because we expect perfection so much.
And instant gratification. We're in an instant gratification world. It's
Hmm.
like, I thought this idea should happen right now. It's like, no,
Yeah. Yeah. I
that's not
thought you told me that if I ate these vegetables, I would lose 50 pounds, like
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Like, you know, I've been, like, come on. Expectations, what's the smart goals? Smart goals. My brain is like losing it right now. But simple, measurable, I think it
Hmm.
is, or
Yeah,
specific, measurable. Um, uh, I forget what A is.
yeah.
Attainable, probably attainable. Let's just create our own, reasonable or
Mhm. Realistic. There you go.
and timely. Yeah,
Yep.
realistic and timely. We have to make sense with ourselves. You know, my when I had my son, I was in I had 5 classes. I went back to school, decided to go back to school. I had 5 classes, and they were all science classes. And he came, and I it was interesting. And so my whole mindset changed, and I said, okay, how am I going to get through this? And I prayed, and I had some warriors around me that were with me to pray with me, because I was feeling a little, it was rough. Because I said, man, these classes, I'm like blowing stuff up in the lab, and I'm like, and I didn't want nobody to know I was pregnant. And then I'm in my exercise class, and the lady's looking at me, my professor's looking at me like, what is she doing? She's like not doing anything, and I'm freaking out. And I got through it. I got through it, and I told myself to just take your time, be reasonable, be realistic, be specific about what you want. Everything came and hit. Then COVID came. Then I'm in the house with the baby, and I'm like, oh my God, I lost all my work. I'm a singer, musician, so
Hmm.
work was gone. It just everything just at once. I was like, oh, what do we do? And so because I was easy on myself, um, others probably won't say that though.
It's not about what they say. It's okay.
I'm thinking about, like my mom. My mom
I
says
know. I knew exactly where you were going. It's like, no.
um, you know, realistically, I just, for me, I don't want to work for anybody else.
Hmm.
And so the direction that I was headed and what I'm fighting for and what I'm trying to get through, it took a lot out of me to cultivate these ideas of what I wanted and what I want to do, and I'm still going through it, and it's normal. And I'm so happy to be reaching it and achieving it, and so now I'm getting it. It's coming together. It's coming together. You know, be realistic. You know, it's not gonna happen right away, and I'm fully aware of it. I'm fully aware of it. But it's the same thing with how you live your life, your lifestyle, and how you take care
Mhm.
of your body and yourself. You know, I definitely have the food part where I need it to be. Um, we have to love ourselves.
Yes.
We have to love ourselves. That's the big part of it. You
Mhm.
know, that's the big part of it. Um, I want everybody to just like love on yourself. Love on yourself. When you see that, you know, smell that bacon. And when the holidays come, it doesn't have to be what it always has been. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be that cheese that clogged you up. It doesn't have to be, you know, that big roast sitting in the middle of the table. We can change it up. You know, we have the ability to change it up. And that's a big challenge.
Yes.
That would be an insane challenge. Like, okay, it's Thanksgiving. How can you flip your Thanksgiving and not have those traditional meals?
That would
Or
be fun though. We could do that.
that would be a lot of fun. I did it this year. That was big for my mom to have. We had, what was it? I think it was Mother's Day or one of these holidays where we had a Ethiopian, vegan Ethiopian, yeah,
Mm.
dinner, because that's my favorite. So, you know, I like the gomen and the oof and
Mhm.
oh my gosh, like um that's a huge challenge because what does everybody's Thanksgiving look like? Macaroni and cheese,
Don't hate
turkey,
on macaroni and cheese.
huh?
I said don't hate on mac and cheese. That's
Listen, I could make a mac and cheese and make you change your mind.
oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's still got to be on the table though. I don't care what it's still got to be on the table.
It still gotta be on the table. Yeah, I mean, we could switch it up. We could switch it up. I think
Mhm.
that would be interesting to see what could you do with your Thanksgiving or whatever holiday that you have. How would you switch it up?
Right. And another thing I think about veganism, girl, first of all, I usually only keep people hostage for like 60 minutes. We go in, we're already
Oh,
transparent.
okay,
But,
cool.
but I find that veganism has been co opted
Hmm.
in a sense that a lot of our ethnic foods, a lot of our traditional foods, a lot of where we come from was vegan on its own. Like a lot of the things that we ate by nature were root vegetables and sauces
Yeah.
and beans and
Yeah.
things like that. But
Hmm.
now it's like we have this whitewash version of what veganism is. So I
Yeah.
know for me personally, I'm making more of a conscious effort to go back to this, to our ethnicity
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
regard to vegan eating.
Yeah.
So how that ties into how we celebrate our holidays, I think
Mhm.
maybe not necessarily commercial holiday celebration, but
Yeah.
what are some of our traditional foods? And that's
Yeah.
another way you could spin it, which I
Yeah.
think would work just as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why I love doing that. Ethiopian night was amazing. The table was like, I came in and I'm like, Mom, like you did this for me. Yeah, it was a big deal, and everybody enjoyed everything. You
Mm-hmm.
know, not going with commercialized tradition. You know, wow, that might be a lot for some people, but I think that you can implement and add, start creating dishes one by
Mm-hmm.
one every now and then. You know, once a month, make a few dishes and start adding them and making them your staples.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can happen. It can
Yep.
happen. Yeah, yeah. So I got a lot of plans.
We could talk about that.
Yeah,
We could talk about
I have a lot of plans. People talk about, alkaline the alkaline diet
that.
a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and I feel like it's fine. Um, of course, it's one of the best diets you can have when keeping
Mm-hmm.
acidity down in your body. Definitely more complicated than veganism,
Mm-hmm.
for many, because of accessibility.
Right.
You know, um, and it takes some time to understand, what's acidic and what's not. You know, so that's a big deal. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I was raw vegan. I did that for a while too. And that was intense, so anything is possible, and I enjoyed it. um i think I think it was around the time you made my daughter a birthday cake
Mm-hmm.
years ago. And so I had she had the cake that you made, a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
pink, I think it was like a pink Cadillac with golden
Yeah, like
stripes.
the race car. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so it was that cake, it was that beautiful cake, and then I made a chocolate raw vegan cake
Mm-hmm.
for her on the side. And when I made that, she loved it. And I made it with dates and cacao, and it was really, really flavorful. It was intense, strong chocolate flavor,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the real deal. But that was I set my mind to, even though it was her birthday, and it was my birthday 2 days before. I was like, it doesn't matter about birthdays or holidays. I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm gonna stick to because if you don't commit, then everything starts to fall off.
You're
You
right.
know, it's like, oh, my birthday's coming. You know what I
You
mean?
start
Like
to
that.
make excuses and whatnot.
Yeah. So we got to be honest with ourselves. Like, at this point, like, okay, I think you can skip one birthday. And detoxing 30 days out of 365 days.
And it's not even about skipping it, it's readjusting it, recalibrating
Readjusting.
what you're doing. That's all it is. It's not even, you don't
Hmm.
even have to skip your birthday. Just do a little
Yeah.
different. Be open
Yeah.
to the change.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, um, it could happen.
Oh, yeah, it will
It could,
happen. It,
yeah, it could happen. So I just like, for everybody that's out there, like we said before, take your time. Don't be hard on yourself. Love on yourself more. Understand that what you put in your body is going to determine part of your future. You
mm-hmm.
know, um, because every can of soda, every bit of that oil that doesn't agree with your body is going to sit there, and it either solidifies and turns into that brown fat and doesn't
Mm-hmm.
move, or it's gonna create a problem where your body can't process, and you have insulin problems. And you
Mm-hmm.
know we want to try to stay away from disease as much as possible, and acidity, and all it is mucus and acidity. That's what it all,
That's a
so
whole nother
getting,
conversation unto itself.
yeah. So I would say start with, maybe we have 7 days out of the week. Let's do, I think what would help is maybe 2 days of not super duper fasting, but light meals until you can fast, because your body does need time to regroup, you know. And don't put the days next to each other. Don't, maybe give it a break. You know
I
what I'm saying?
fast from Sunday to Tuesday, so.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so possible. And I hear a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, they say, I didn't really eat much today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if you already do that, then you can really fast with just water and herbs for 2 days.
Yep.
And then the next few days, break your fast with fruit and smoothies and salads. and then choose maybe 2 days of meat if that's
Mhm.
what you choose to eat. That's a good start for many, I think.
That's
You
feasible.
have, yeah, because you have to have a plan, and you got to tell your family. You got to sit them down and say, listen,
Yeah. Be like,
I'm
hold
doing this for me.
up.
So yeah, so it has to be a group thing. It
Hmm.
has to be a group thing. Um, it can't be you by yourself. And I do these consultation calls, and I decide, you have to decide whether you want the weekly calls where I call you and go, hey, how's it going? And you say, oh man, I fell off, and I say, it's okay. Let's get back on. What do you need? Do you need a meal plan for a week? Do you need, what type of assistance do you need?
Hmm.
Because we fall off. We fall off. We fall off. Birthdays, holidays, you know. Um, but it's something where you can just get back on. You can get back on until your body has kicked some of those cravings, and once the cravings leave, then it'll be easier. Once the palate is changed, I would say about 6 months to a year is when the body starts to really see changes, you know, um, with detoxing and changing up your diet. 6 months to a year, 30 days is not enough. It's just a jump
That's
start.
just the start. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
just a
just.
start. Yeah. So and then the water, I'll do the water challenge again because that really, people were like, man, I had so much energy. I noticed my hair was growing more. It was so many different things. I feel like somebody's coming. It was so many different things that started happening. Weight loss. And I'm like, yeah, told you. I told you. Oh, drinking water changes everything. Changes everything. And then what type of water are we drinking? I don't get there yet because I tell people drink what you have. Because it's another
Mm.
thing about
I'm about to. We about to end this so you can go inside and be free
But
of these
yeah,
people.
I'm seeing like I'm hearing bugs hit the wall that look like this big. I feel like I'm out in the super duper country right now because I'm I'm hearing weird
So
sounds.
listen, I'm not gonna have you outside doing all that, right?
It was so beautiful. I wanted to show the garden, and it's probably too dark to show it now.
Yeah.
But we're growing. My mom is amazing. She's serious about the garden.
Hmm.
um Butternut squash, we got regular squash, we got kale, we got collards, we got corn, we have all types of herbs and spices, and what else does she have? Eggplant, just foods that I eat every day.
Hmm.
So I mean, last year I was cooking up zucchini like crazy, and you can do the zucchini noodles
Hmm.
and butternut squash, roasted with a little bit of maple syrup and cinnamon, or if you've got a sweet tooth, or you, instead of having sweet potatoes, which are more acidic. So that's where you would hit the alkaline. That's the difference, finding alternatives. um what else is she growing out there? So she's growing so much, and I'm just like, I'm always amazed every year that she does more.
Hmm.
And the most I do is turn the soil over, which is work. But I enjoy it. That's part of my
Hmm.
workout. Because she just keeps going, I need more, I need more. I'm like, okay, okay. But if you got a little grass, even if you don't, get a little dirt, get a little good soil, get some organic seeds, find out when you can start growing, you know, uh, whatever you have, and man, start planting. Start. That's how you get back to nature.
Yep.
That's how you get back to nature, man. It's and it's doable. When you start seeing the little baby sprout, that's when you start getting crazy and start talking to the plant
Hmm.
and going like this. Come on, you know. And wash your hair in the rain. Now I'm about to get crazy. Wash your hair in the rain. Become, yeah. Just start living, and stop, the phones and the TV. and the media and what you see on what everybody else is doing. I don't care about what everybody else is doing because it floods your mind. It puts a lot of toxins in you when you watch so much of what other people's standards are. And it does something to you. It makes you feel like
Mm-hmm.
you have to do this,
Yeah.
you know you
I
know
just be like, fuck that. I ain't doing shit. But that's just me.
Yeah, like I've had people make fun of me because I don't drink. Like I wine every now and then, but it's really like twice out the year, three times out the year, and I'm like, look,
Mhm.
I just this is just not my thing, and it's not anything against what anybody does. It's just not my thing. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You ain't gotta pop bottles, and if you do, that's your thing. But just finding finding who you are and being true to that. you know um that's where I'm at in my life right now, and I'm really really enjoying starting to enjoy me, you know and accept me for that, and say, it's okay, it's all right. I ain't got to do this or do that, to enjoy my life. I don't have to be perfect. I got mom boobs. I got a lot going on right now. It's a different world for me now, having kids and trying to be perfect all the time.
Well,
It's just
perfect is an illusion, so we don't need to aspire to that. But
yeah, no,
I do believe that that is a perfect space to end our conversation because realistically,
yeah,
we could have this conversation for days. And I've already decided we're
I
going to have a part
know.
two, maybe three. We're going to get in the kitchen. There's so much that we can do. However,
Yeah,
the reality of the situation is be true to you, be authentic
yeah,
to you, do what
yes,
works
yes,
for you
yes,
in order
yes,
to better yourself. And that's what the
yeah,
People's Pride Project is about. We say authenticity, autonomy,
mhm,
community. Be authentic
yeah,
to yourself, be free thinking and governing of yourself,
hmm,
and be a benefit to those around you.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's really
Peace
what it
and
all comes.
blessing.
I
Thank
truly
you for
appreciate you
having
for,
me.
yes, thank you for coming. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing so many gems, so much of your knowledge.
thank
And I
you.
truly, truly appreciate it. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Like we're definitely going to do a part two, part three.
Cool,
Um,
cool.
yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I didn't know if you wanted me to do it this time. So I said, oh, let me bring, because I'm hanging with my mom. I said, let me bring some potatoes and some nutritional yeast. I'm gonna make some nachos to make some cheese for the nachos, chili cheese fries.
See, now
Yeah,
you talking
so
because I'm fat on the inside. I got like mad
look,
fat people living in my body, but it's okay. We'll do that next time.
me too, sis. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I
Big
thoroughly
time.
enjoyed it. Enjoy
Yeah,
your
me
night.
too.
Get away from the mosquitoes.
Man, I'm playing connect the dots right now at these joints.
Much love to you, and tell your mommy I said hi.
I sure will. Peace, peace.
Good
Thanks for
night.
everybody who showed up. I don't know where to look.
Bye.
My eyes are probably like cross-eyed.